Good evening, all. Uh, so, I wanted this session to be more like a BOF, but somehow I ended up here in the podium and I have people listening down there. This is not how I wanted this session to happen. Uh, I recently got interested. I was always interested in gender issues, but recently I was having, during different events, I got to know, like, the gender, when I was aware that the gender ratio within free software is very, very bad. So I wanted to do something that can help to improve the situation. So I am doing some stuff back in India, and like when I was coming for DebConf, I thought let's do this, explore the same concept here, like how gender diverse is Debian. So, do we have mics to pass? Okay. So, I want you people to like speak out. So, what do you think is kind of gender ratio within Debian? How many, like, let's count non-male, or what do you say? Include means what are the ratios we have? Like, what's the number we are having? Number of women, number of trans, or all other genders other than men? What's the estimate? Like, we have 1010 DDs. So what do you think? What is the number we might be having? Okay.
$32.
Yes, like less than that. Currently, there are 1010 active DDs, and out of that, less than 30. Like 32 is the count of number of women DDs we have had till now. That means including those who have retired or resigned, including them we have like 32, 33. This is not a official record because we don't have the gender marked in the list. This is something like earlier the Debian Women page had a list. From that I added some data later. I updated those with kind of names, people, I spoke with people and I got that. Maybe we may, even if we like give a 4 or 5, so it's just like 0.35. Yes, but one thing we have to say, 15 years before, when Debian Women started, it was 0.03. Now we are 0.3. So that's an improvement, but in 15 years, yeah, 10 times we improved, but is it enough? Shouldn't we do? So let's explore what we can do. This is a very interesting document. I found a link in Debian Women. It's how to encourage women in Linux. They have like listed clearly different stuff like why there are so few women. So it was like written in 2002, but I don't think there is a lot of change in the situation they mentioned. they have like listed different things, and there is a clear do's and don'ts, which like we have people who made documented what are the problems, what are the things we can do to improve it. We have tried, we have reached here because yeah, initiatives like Debian Women was there, but recent years Debian Women and now diversity team is coming up, but recent years Debian Women have like somewhat become dormant, and we hardly see any conversations or discussions going up either in the IRC or in the mailing list. So, like I was saying, we need to do something in Debian. I was thinking of like asking you people what we can do. We can do together, maybe revive the Debian Women, or rather like move on to Debian diversity and make it more active and get more people. I don't have a clear-cut idea of what to and how to do the stuff. I want you people to like give the inputs, and let's, yeah. So this is like, you people help me with the suggestions. Yeah.
So I know in the past Debian Women has done a number of various types of events and things, and I'm curious if there was ever like an analysis of like how well did those events go? Were some of them more productive? Were some of them, you know, just fun? Like how do, in what ways has Debian Women engaged people in the past, and maybe take the most effective ones? Although the landscape may have changed now, but just seeing what the project did in the past when it was more active might be useful, a useful starting point.
There were like IRC training sessions for a while, which were going on, where some people sort of showed how to do packaging on IRC or other specific things, like also the graphs of how the maintainer scripts work on installation, on removing of packages, was a product that came out of Debian Women. And what I very much liked was the 2 mini DebConfs we had in Brazil and Barcelona and Bucharest, where all the people who were presenting, speakers at the event were people identifying as women. And I think having this representation during the mini DebConf with a lot of great speaks and presenters at the conference is something that really moves the community, because we speak about queer representation in movies and other stuff, and things like that really matters, because they have a deep impact on when you see someone presenting that you can relate to on a also personal level, you're much more likely to engage with that community. And I think we really should encourage more non-cis male people to present at DebConf, and I'm not quite sure how the selection process goes. I'm fairly sure they try to improve on that rate and also put that into the ranking, but it still depends on people submitting papers in the first place.
I think like when there is a DebConf, make sure that there is women, not just like doing talks, but like in the beginning of the event, when we have here the opening talk, and it was just men's. So that shocked me a little bit because I know there was women involved too. I think this is a good way to, so who is new to the community, see that people cares about women, be present and be involved in the construction of the event.
So I guess what I wanted to add to what Rhonda said was that we did all these things from Debian Women, and then eventually we ran out of energy. So I was part of the organizing team for the 2 mini DebConfs, and then I just didn't have enough energy to keep going, and so it's really important if like new people with new energy join, and like yeah, try to keep doing whatever they feel is necessary, because like we did IRC tutorials because we felt at the time that that was something that would help, and I think they helped. So I think they were successful at the time. I'm not sure if today an IRC tutorial is the thing that is needed. Maybe it is, and then it's just a question of someone asking for a volunteer to lead the tutorial and then announce that the tutorial would happen, etc. And this is like, it's not a lot of work, but you still need to have the energy to do it. So I would be very happy if like people with energy can join and keep helping.
Okay. I would like to hear from this, like, we people are like somewhat contributing, or some of them are seniors in this Debian. So like, as new contributors, if you're okay to share your things, like if you are feeling welcome to like the team, do you feel like contributing to Debian if there is something that you like, some things like you want to share, these young girls who are at the verge of here, but like, will they continue to be part of Debian or like end with the DebConf?
Okay, so this is my first DebConf, and I haven't started contributing with Debian yet, but I'm going to, I swear. And I was talking to the women when we had the other talk back on yesterday, or I don't remember when, that I felt really welcomed here in this environment, because even though we don't have that much diversity, I felt welcome anyway, because people are, I don't know actually how to describe it, but it was nice. It was a nice environment. But also I felt, how do I say that? For example, I am studying computer science, and in my classroom there is like 50 people and like 2 women, and so I'm used to this kind of yeah, thanks. And so here actually it is not that diverse here, but it's like much more than I am used to. So this is already a nice thing. And another thing that I was going to say before I ask this, here we are talking about how to improve this diversity and stuff here in Debian and whatever, but I think we have a bigger problem in technology itself, because as I said, there are like 50 people in my classroom and only like 2 women, and it's a problem that is like deeper than it looks like. And I think that we could not only do things to improve this in this environment, like only on free software and things, but also in technology stuff. For example, bringing people to free software and to technology and these kind of things. And when I say people, focusing on women and non-cis people and whatever. So I guess that's all.
So you were mentioning about being like 2 women in the whole class of 50. The place where I come from in India, we have, that's a surprising fact, like we have like around 50% or somewhat similar to that percent, we have girls studying computer science, and almost same ratio in IT jobs. But when it comes to free software, there are none.
Yeah.
So, like, that was the perspective I was trying to explore. But when I came here and like having discussions with you, now I'm feeling like at least the situation there is somewhat different or better or whatever, at least on the technical side. But women are involved in technical stuff, but are they into free software? The answer is no. Like, I have been to, I keep going to different events throughout India, and almost always I will be the only free software events. So almost always I'm the only speaker left there. So like when we were organizing an event, we were like, we will like search for whatever the women have, if they are good, like we will give preference to women speakers, and we had really good speakers applying for that, and we like got like 2-3 people specifically. We like looked for them, we arranged what do you say, we made a woman as the keynote speaker and all those. Like if we take effort and find out people, that gives motivation. That's what at least I believe, but that doesn't solve everything. That's one beginning step towards beginning, at least. So
thank you. Hi. I have done a lot of outreachy training. I've also done kind of mentoring in my team, which was finally dedicated to women, since I realized that only men are subscribing to this project. I can't say, I'm constantly seeking for a solution. If we say exclude, we run on the street and grab a woman and say, no, you make free software. It's hard to understand for me why we have about a ratio of 25% or more in commercial IT, and we have drastically lower in free software, which is, in my opinion, a conflict because you have not this competition. So everybody can go on our stage. Maybe in commercial environment, men might be rush and push the woman from the stage, but this is not happening here. So to have one force less to enter, or which makes it in principle easier to enter. So my constant riddle is, what might be the reason for this? I discussed it with my wife, who's not a technical person, and she said, well, assume that women might prefer to read a book in the evening, go cooking, go knitting, or whatever. They don't care about software in their spare time. I'm not sure if this is a reason, but if this is a reason, how can we change this? Should we go in the sitting room and say, well, stop knitting and start coding? Or what? I have no solution for this.
This is essentially related with this point. When I look for women in the society, normally the women have a double work. You go to work and then work back in your house. So, and then you need to contribute to open source as well. And then you need to go to take your kids to school. I know these relationships change for country to country, But if I look to Brazil society, in this case, most of the time the woman is not desiring to be learning. Maybe she's trying to relax after having a stressed day. And I was trying to look to my past, why I arrived here, why I'm here. In the first time when I joined the free software movement, was because I decided to enter a technical event for random reason, and I attend was a workshop, and the person invited me to go to a free software table. So if you look to your friends, like how many diverse friends we have, are we inviting them to enjoy something? Do we know how they used to use their free time? Maybe someone like to learn new stuff, and maybe this person is a diverse person. I mean diverse on just trying to remove only cis, male, where is the default in this community? And what this person like to do. Maybe you calling what you have nearby you is going to be simpler compared with making something really bigger. I don't know if it makes sense. Like sometimes I used to host some events for Rails girls, Jungle girls, and so on. And most of the guys from the community used to complain, oh, but it's not increasing the number of the women in the community. Well, they are learning how to code. They don't need to decide to be part of a place where they don't see they belong to. So how maybe to change a way where you can feel you belong to this community as well, or like what you have pointing out, have someone speaking out, you can see yourself there. So I feel empathy, I can be part. I don't know how public can be this made done, or also I don't know how to encourage it, because based on how things used to work in human relationships, I see most of the time women don't take a risk for something because I don't deserve, or I don't believe, I don't should not be in this place. And I have this in my job. And the person offered a position and no, this is not for me. And then the person said, no, but this is for juniors, no matter. Okay, so I accepted because I'm a junior. I don't see myself as a senior. Deal. I don't know how we can maybe help someone to, I trust you. Go there, try at least.
So, like in this regard, like you said, I also do a lot of packaging workshops in India. There are a lot of women attending the sessions. Almost always, like it's more than 50% it will be girls attending a session. But somehow, mostly girls, we don't get a lot of stay back, even the boys, but girls are like, we just lose contact with them when we just don't get to communicate with them. So now we have like started to form a small group of like girls who are interested in free software, not just Debian, any free software. Like we have like 10 girls who are interested, but the aim of the group is not to make them technically competent, but more of them to like overcome the inhibitions and the, what do you say, self-doubt, and build the confidence level in them so that they are confident enough to go out into the community and start their contributions. If I talk about my personal experience, like I was very shy on writing to mailing lists. Even till now, I have been contributing to Debian for like 3 years. Till now, most of you might not have seen even one mail. Maybe ITPs you may be getting a lot, but I don't write even a mail to the mailing list because I have somehow the feeling that what will I write? And this is somebody told me in this conference itself, there are a lot of flame wars happening, you know about Debian mailing lists. So like women tend to be like not involved in that. I don't know, maybe that was like put me off or maybe scared me, like writing to the mailing list. But when I came into this DebConf, the whole perspective changed. Now I am like, okay, I can write to this, like this group is very welcoming, but somebody else, when I was discussing, they were like, when you see from outside, you find Debian fight. When you go to the mailing list, you see everybody is fighting with each other. But when you come to DebConf, you see that it is a close-knit, what do you say, welcoming community. But from outside, you're like, okay, should I get involved in this or not? So I think DebConfs are a good start because you people ended up first time in DebConf, so you feel the welcoming part. Now you know people, you can like start contributing to that. So making people attend DebConf is a good start, at least I believe. Then, yeah.
Yes. I guess changing the way you think is important too, as I'm going back to what you said about, so the woman wants to relax and read a book and whatever. I guess this kind of thing is not nice thinking of, because you are like separating women from men in a, how do I say that, personality way, for example. And we know that the gender doesn't, it's not connected with personality at all. And I guess these kind of things are things that we, as like non-cis men, are used to, because no one expects from us to do things different than that. So if you say you work with technology or free software or whatever, the person, whoa, that's so nice. It's hard to see, because we know it's really. So the point is changing this thinking, I guess. So not only us, but also helping our friends or whatever, and remind them that our personality doesn't have a connection with our gender or whatever, and that it's hard, it's not nice thinking that, oh, women or non-cis people prefer reading a book than coding or whatever. Even if the most part of people that you know are like this, you can't connect that to gender, because usually it comes from the root of society. It's something that we learn to do since we are young. So it's hard to change that feeling and that thoughts. So if we start thinking another way, and then we can, how do I say that? We can connect people around thinking the same way. So teaching them to think the same way, and then it's a good way to start, because you don't have this separation, and again, the personality and gender stuff, so it gets more homogeneous, and that's it.
So like I would like to add, like I know solving gender issue within tech or free software is not just, it's not a problem of free software. It's not just the problem of free software or Debian or stuff. It is a systemic problem. It is the society conditions the girls, the women to behave in such a way. So after so many years of conditioning, it's very hard for people to get out of the mindset. Very few only succeed to do that. And yes, look, that's something we need to do separately, the change of society. But here we can, what I'm trying to do is like, at least those who come near, like those who have taken few steps to reach us, we should be able to retain them. We should not be losing them on the way. The other thing is a big project.
So I think promoting learning environments is a good way to bring women together. In the diversity talk, I make that as a suggestion, and I understand that the diversity team don't want to do this role, and maybe the Deb Woman maybe is a place where we can promote this. And I know that Red had a lot of efforts on that. For me personally, I just get in something when I am invited, and I know it has a lot to do with my childhood, you know, because it was always like, oh, woman has to wait, being invited for something. And because of some bad experience that I had, you know, like saying, okay, I can help, and people just like, oh, no, you know, this guy and this guy, you know, like. So today for me it's difficult to take the first step if someone don't invited me. I think to bring more women is good to think about environments that don't have a lot of competitive or yes, environment that's competitive, you know, like I don't like a lot this kind of environment, and when I see that, I just feel like, okay, I think this is not my place. Or a place where you have too much fight. I confess some of the lists in Debian, sometimes I got a little scared, you know, oh my God, I'm not going to enter in this discussion. And one good thing that I think Debian Red does is the bursary for people to come to the DebConfs, because I had a bursary in 17. And after that, I really felt like, okay, people here want women to participate, even if you're not like a DD or something like that, as a user even. And so, yeah, it's that.
I would like to clarify what I said because I asked my wife about her opinion. It was not that that I think it's bad or good thinking. I was evaluating her very well, and I was asking for her opinion, what she thinks. And I think it's really fair if somebody says, I'm not interested to spend my fair time with something else. And we in Debian will not change this. And I do not want to change, and we can try to change the whole society, starting with kindergarten, but this is not our task. Our task is to go to those women who want to do something voluntary and pick this them at this point and not say go further. And this we will not manage this.
About the diversity bursary stuff you have mentioned, I don't think it's not very publicized about like Debian gives this kind of bursary. It's not a well publicized thing. Only if you are somewhat aware, or if somebody tells you, then only you get to know that thing. I was part of Debian for like 3 years. I never knew that there was a diversity bursary thing which I could apply, and I could have like, I couldn't afford a trip to like Montreal or something to attend the event. But if I had known then, I would have applied for that bursary. But what happens is like this diversity bursary, at least sometimes, get misused, and like some people like who are aware of this, they keep some people may misuse it, and but others who are interested, who are not aware of the stuff, are left behind. So that's one thing I believe, like we should like promote this diversity bursary, but be more careful, means be like spreading the idea. We need more people to come together, and I don't know how to put it out, but yeah. I don't know if you have any take.
I have heard that to be a DD, you must be referred by someone. There is any kind of tool or something that you can refer someone also to receive the bursary?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
There is a possibility to refer someone to receive this bursary. Like, I am a man, I'm in the tech community, but I saw, oh, this person. I know that exists this money, and I know maybe can support this person. Can I refer this person for?
Like, you can tell that person to apply the bursary, and you
No, but you can email the bursary team saying that you support
Yes, yeah,
the
that's what I'm
request. Yes, that you can do. The person needs to apply, and then you just email the giving support to that that you support. It is a contributor in another project, or you give your input on why this person should receive, and this will be taken into account.
There's this thing in the there's also this point in the bursary page where you can send a recommendation telling you that you can send a recommendation mail for a person who you want to see at DebConf. So, yeah.
So I believe diversity bursary is a very important thing, but we should promote it more. We get more diverse people.
No, I completely agree. But this is my point. Everybody here having top of mind someone they would like to refer? Like looking for your network, for who is contributing to the Debian community, you have in top of your mind, maybe I should talk with this person.
Yes. So I think we are coming to the end or something. We can have like few more comments. This I don't want it to be just a session or discussion, and when you're out of this room we forget about this. That's not what I want from this discussion. I want this discussion to be carried forward, and I would like to have, I want to, like Marga was telling, if somebody is interested to revive the stuff, go ahead. So like, I think we'll, instead of start with the diversity thing, I am interested in doing work, dedicating a lot of time for that. So if who all are interested to join me, please connect and let's do at least, like as Marga said, until and unless, like until we lose the energy, let's do something. At least if we can get a few people interested in this, I think we are successful. Like Debian Women, when it started, it was 3 people. Now we have like 30, so that's 10 times. So maybe in 15 years, yes, maybe in 15 years, let's make it 300. So I'm serious about this. So like those who are interested, please, let's take it after the session and let's go ahead and find some ways. Let's try many things. Some may work, some maybe proper blunders, but yeah, let's try. I'm done. Anybody else interested to add something or? Yeah, sure.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody for being here. Because if you're here, you are interested in changing it. So if you see these people here, I believe we can do something.
So thank you all, and let's do something.